To me, cultural identity is the common bond that like a group of people share whenever they come from like a particular background.
Cultural identity means where your parents came from. It can also mean where you were raised. To me, it's both.
Well, right now I'm balancing 3 cultures: Vietnamese, Norwegian, and I guess American culture, although I'm not sure what the identity of that is. But it's getting other people to understand that a lot of things I do or say or the way I think is really different from them because I was raised differently.
Growing up, I didn't have a lot of Asian friends, so it was really hard to understand, being Vietnamese or Asian.
It was hard for me to balance between Korean and English because I didn't know which one I was more of, because there was a bunch of white people where I grew up. I wanted to be white at one point. There were so many girls that had this standard of beauty that I couldn't ever meet.
I went to a predominantly black high school. The zip code I went to high school was is the most diverse zip code in the United States. So I had a hard time with cultural identity. I'm Korean, but I didn't feel like I felt like I was too black for the Koreans, and when I'm black, I'm too Asian for the blacks. And I experienced racism in the tiniest ways. For instance, when I play sports, I hate hearing stuff like, you're this for an Asian, you're that for an Asian. Why can't I just be this just for a person?
I was raised just like every other American kid, but it was the fact that I looked different than a regular Westerner. I don't know if it was in my head, but I felt like it was harder to make American friends because they, I guess, didn't relate to me as much, and they thought I was maybe an outsider, or I guess I was seen more as an outsider because I wasn't the same color. I can't say with 100% certainty that was the issue, but it definitely felt that way.
When I go home, which is rarely because I can't look the way I do, I can't have these piercings, I can't dress this way, I'm a completely different person, I'm not myself. And I had a hard time struggling with that.
I lift, I'm loud, I get tattoos. And because of that, my dad doesn't really accept me anymore. And recently he told me that I don't look like a female, that my body's ugly. And I just don't understand why. It doesn't matter what my end goals are. But why can't he see that I worked hard and I had dedication, and this is the result of really hard work?
I was going through depression, so telling my parents that was pretty hard. So connecting to them on that level, it was difficult, but I made it through once I realized that they may not fully understand what I was going through, but they were willing to help me in any way that they could.
I guess the way I talk to my parents is really different than the way maybe my other friends would that are maybe white or something. They might get away with saying a little more, maybe a little more sass or attitude, where over here, if I did something like that, I'd probably be fearing for my life.
They emphasize on why you need to be grateful in either way, because you might not remember the times when your mom sacrificed for you because it doesn't leave that much of an impression, but later when you look back on it, you're gonna see that they sacrificed a lot more, that they beat you with the lacrosse stick or the bamboo stick they had at home. You just realize how much your parents do for you, but they don't say anything.
I think really respecting your elders and taking care of them, I think that's big in Eastern culture, where you're raised to always respect your elders, of course, and then your job is to pretty much establish yourself and then start taking care of them. And it's really normal to have your parents or your grandparents come live with you so you take care of them. Here in Western culture, that's once you grow up and you go out on your own, that's pretty much it. Like, you don't really care. If they get old and they can't take care of themselves, you kind of chuck them in a home.
I think that you should embrace it, learn from it, and try to really use that to make a positive impact.
You should always be reminded that nobody dictates who you are.
It's okay to be not so integrated into your culture. It's good to understand like where your roots are, but if that's not your comfort zone, it may be better to like try it out, and if it's still not in your comfort zone, you don't have to go into it.
There was no switch that I was able to just like turn on. It was just kind of being comfortable in my own skin and knowing that like the color of my skin or like the way that I look doesn't define who I am as a person. Like, you just have to put yourself out there and just be yourself.